Hello, my friends. This is Jeannie. Welcome to week 4 of the CC Designs collab with Gracie21. First, let me begin by saying thank you to Grace, who is Gracie21, for hosting such a fun collab and for allowing me to be part of it. I truly do appreciate that. And I have had so much fun, and it has definitely been a motivating force for me. It has encouraged me to craft more and also to use stamps that up till now I hadn't used before. Yeah, some of my CC Design stamps I have had for a long minute and I haven't used them until now. So thank you, Grace, for being a motivating force in that sense. And again, thank you for inviting me to join the collab. I truly do appreciate it. Also, a big shout out and thank you to Tina, who is Crafty Bean, and Sybil, who is Sybil B. Those are the other two ladies who have been participating in the collab. I have most certainly enjoyed watching their videos, and I have been inspired on so many levels on the different ways that I can use my CC Designs stamps. So thank you, Grace. Thank you, Tina. And thank you, Sybil, for bringing such great sources of inspiration and for just being good human souls. I love good human souls. It has been a pleasure, and I hope that we can all collab again soon. That all being said, let me share with you my week 4 project, which I have to admit is probably my most favorite of them all, only because it involved a media of crafting that I probably enjoyed most of all the different things that I do. Because we all know when it comes to crafting, I'm the jack of all trades, master of none. I just like doing different things. But probably my passion is mixed media and art journaling. It's something that, it brings me such great joy. So I thought my week 4 project should be the one form of crafting that I enjoy the most, which is art journaling. So I have made a couple of art journal layouts for my last week. Before I share those layouts with you, let me share with you some of the products that I used. Let's start with the stamps. I used these two cuties. One is called Allie the Cloud Chaser. Really cute. The other is called Mixed Media Butterfly. Until this collab, I had never used those stamps, and they have been in my stash for a good long while. I also used my Tim Holtz Ideology Chit Chat pad. I don't even remember where I got that from. I used one of, it's the only Delusions sentiment set that I have. This one is called Laugh Till You Leak. And it is a sassy little set. I used Be You, The World Would Adjust. Okay. I used some watercolor paper and my archival ink. I stamped the images onto the watercolor paper and used my Zig brush markers to color up the images. So that was fun. And of course I used, I think it was 3 or 4 different Delusions paints. I love these ink sprays. Did I say paints? No, I used the ink sprays. I used Periwinkle Blue. I used Rose Quartz. Laid Back Lilac, that is such a pretty color, and Bubblegum Pink, which is probably one of my favorite colors in the entire collection. I have a lot of favorites. And then finally, in terms of ink, sprays and color sprays, I use this Heidi Swapp Color Shine in the gold, and this is stunning. I picked up a set of these from Tuesday morning, and I only recently got around to using them, and so far I've only used the gold, and oh wow, the shine is amazing. I can't wait to show you. Then I used this gold thread just to have some texture in the layout, and I think that covers everything. I also used some distress inks to distress the edges of the sentiment, and also just to distress the edges of the layout. Finally, I used my Dilutions art journal. This one is actually one that's been sitting on my shelf for a little bit. I originally thought I would be using one of my other bigger journals to do the layout, but the other journals were simply too big considering how small the stamps were, and I found that I felt like the image was getting lost on the page, so I decided to go down to a smaller book. This was a new book that had been sitting on my shelf for a good long while, waiting to be used and welcomed into the art journal club here in my craft room. So I was excited to start a new journal. So now I think that covers everything. Let me share with you the projects that I made. The background for both projects are the same. I made the backgrounds at the same time. I just changed up the sentiments and the image. Now this is a long layout, so and it's two separate layouts, so I'm going to focus one at a time. This is our little cloud catcher, and I used those inks and sprays to create the background. I wanted kind of like a nighttime vibe, kind of like clear skies, almost seen out into the universe type feeling. And I think I've managed to accomplish that. Most of my time I focus on creating the background. That's where most of the joy in art journaling comes from, at least for me, is playing with the sprays and playing with different things to try to create a background and just build on that. So I had so much fun creating this background with the different sprays. You can see the purples, the pinks, the blues. If I turn this a little bit, you can see that gold sparkle. Do you see that? That is that Heidi Swapp spray. It is amazing. So once I created that background, I inked the edges a little bit. I'm thinking I need a new black soot because that was a struggle to get some of that to show. I need more black soot. I do. It's one of my favorite distress inks. Once I created the background and kind of inked the edges a little bit, I added a little hillside here just to kind of ground my images. You've probably heard me say it 100 times. Nothing disturbs me more than seeing random floating images. I like to ground them where necessary. So she is grounded on this hill. Here is the little image, or colored up using my Zig marker. I did fussy cut her out and adhered her on top of the hill. I was, in my mind, what I envisioned was her kind of like on a hilltop, flying a cloud the way you would fly a kite. And just enjoying the night sky and the quietness and the universe around her. So the sentiment I chose for this particular layout is embrace your imagination. And boy, would I love to be kind of like in that the environment she's in now. It looks so peaceful, so fun, so much fun. And yeah, I wouldn't mind spending a night hanging out on the hill flying a cloud. Sounds like fun to me. So that was the first layout. There she is. And I also used different pens. I don't know that I mentioned that. A gold pen and a white paint pen to create some of the flecks in the background to kind of give the vibe of stars, like twinkly sky, if that makes any sense. So that is layout number 1. Here is layout number 2. And I usually don't do layouts side by side like this, but I thought that for this particular journal, I would try to do that so I can get better use of all of the pages in here. So let's see how that goes. So they share the same background, and it's just a totally different sentiment and kind of image going on here. Here is the mixed media butterfly. What I did was I colored her up, and I'm looking at her. Nope, she was also, I thought for a minute there she might have been Copic color, but she's not, because I can feel the paper is watercolor paper. She was definitely colored using my Zig markers. I colored her up, I cut her out, I put a little sparkle on her eyelids. I don't know if you can make that out. It's kind of hard probably. But I then, I forgot to mention this. Cut this butterfly. These butterfly wings in the back is just a large butterfly that I fussy cut from some Tim Holtz collage paper. I did a prior mixed media project when I cut out a bunch of butterflies, and this was one of the butterflies I had left over, and this butterfly was sitting on my desk forever, and it was sitting there just waiting, and I finally found its calling. What I did was I sprayed that gold Heidi Swap spray onto the paper so you can see all that beautiful gold shine. And I adhered it to the back of the mixed media butterfly image, and kind of creating like fairy wings behind her, or butterfly wings. But I didn't glue down the edges because I wanted to have a little bit dimension, let them kind of stick up a little bit. So it looks like her wings are flapping. And in here I also use a set of sentiment stamps I had, and some purple archival ink to kind of just add some words or sentiments in the background, but I didn't want them to pop too much. I wanted them to almost fade in, and I used words like fierce, bold, strong, loyal. And the sentiment here is "Be you, the world will adjust." That is from that Delusions set, that sentiment set that I showed you. And I love the way she turned out. I love her wings. I think it's really, really cute. It's probably going to flatten as soon as I close my book, but that's okay. I can always, you know, perk them back up at a later time when I open the book again. But yeah, those are my 2 layouts. I had so much fun making these. My art journaling is pretty much in keeping with everything else I do. My style is clean and simple. My focus is more the backgrounds. Certainly the original source of inspiration is the image. Based on the image, I create the background, and but the background's always the first thing I make, and I build up from there. So thank you again, everyone, for taking the time to watch all of my videos. I truly do appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed my projects as much as I enjoyed creating them. And again, thank you, Grace, thank you, Tina, and thank you, Sybil, for allowing me to be part of this collaboration. I truly, truly do appreciate it. As for selecting the winner of last week's prize, I did film a separate video for that, and I did post that video, so be sure to check that out to see if you won. I also did a redraw for the week 1 prize because one of the winners never selected or never collected her prize. And for this final week, what I decided to do was to give away the embellishment box that I made in last week's video. So if you watched the video for week 3, you will know that I made this embellishment box. And at first I thought I would keep it or send it off as part of a rack to someone, but I changed my mind and decided to give it away to you as my way of saying thank you for participating and visiting and liking and subscribing and leaving nice encouraging comments in all of our videos. If you would like to be entered into the drawing for this embellishment box, then all you need to do is be a subscriber, be 18 years or older, and leave a comment down below where you just indicate an interest in being entered into the drawing for the embellishment box. I will select the winner next week, either Saturday or Sunday, depending on my schedule. And again, I can't believe this is week 4. I had so much fun. Thank you, Grace. Thank you, Tina. Thank you, Sybil. And thank everyone for making this what I am going to call a very successful collab, a fun collab, and I look forward to future collabs. Until next time, my friends. Bye-bye.